Hey, before we get into the video, I just want to let you know that the original take I made of this video has a um, weird audio effect. It kind of sounds a bit more tinny than usual. And then I figured out the issue, and there are a couple edits where I recorded things after I fixed the issue, so the audio changes a bit. Just want to let you know that ahead of time before getting into the video. But thank you, and enjoy your video. Hello, and welcome back to the Neurotic Valves channel. I am here with a new rant. I might have touched on it before in the past with cancel culture, but there is a recent issue that affected a particular YouTuber I watch, and this is the idea of gatekeeping and toxic fandoms. So there's a YouTuber I follow on Twitter as well. Her name is Altiori. Well, the collective group is Altiori. She's the voice of it and the main brains behind it. And she makes a lot of theory-related videos involving creature features, a lot of Godzilla-related content, although lately she's gotten away from that. And she does other stuff like Bad Movie Mondays, and she'll speculate on things. She'll also review things. It's just basically a good channel if you like monster movies, if you like comic movies. She also reviews those at times. And she recently had a response to someone that openly tagged her and criticized very constructively what they didn't like about her videos. And she took it pretty well. She made a response, and since she was already addressed publicly with her channel tagged and everything, perfectly okay to do a response to that. And that's when things apparently started to go downhill, where people were, saying that she's playing the victim card and all this stuff, and they're also blaming her for making this a public matter when it was public to begin with from the other person, where people were claiming that she was playing a victim card and how she was really like, oh, woe is me, which is not what she was doing at all. She really just, she was taking on the criticism and responding to it in a way most people should or would, in that situation. Anyway, as the drama unfolded with some of the followers, it just showed how nasty sometimes gatekeepers can be, and how bad fandoms and how toxic they can be. The response she had to some of the videos I find kind of disgusting, with how people attacked her at times. And even though I'm not going to get into more details about that situation, I'm using that as an opening to what I see when it comes to fandoms, and just how the toxicity of certain fandoms can get people or keep people away from enjoying these new things that they might just be getting into, and may even turn them away from it. I'll start with some of the fandoms I'm a big part of. I'm a huge fan of the Jurassic Park franchise. I mean, I have my streaming good luck charm here, my co-host, the Brachiosaurus from Jurassic Park. And fortunately, I don't see as much toxicity in this fandom, but there are, of course, the very few that destroy anybody for, saying that the Jurassic Park interpretation of a raptor, when they see it outside of Jurassic Park, they'll call it, a raptor because that's what Jurassic Park did. And the fandom that's really more paleontologically minded are the ones that are like, oh, you're stupid for thinking that's a real raptor. That's not what they really look like. Jurassic Park, blah, blah, blah. It gets into a mess. But that's not that common in this fandom. A fandom that I am part of that does get that way is the metal music community. The metal community is definitely full of a lot of that fandom that, if you don't like this band, you're not part of my group, or if you're not part of this subgenre of music, we can't be friends. And it's kind of disgusting to see because for me, I love a wide variety of music to begin with, and metal, and punk, alternative, grunge, like all of that. I love all of it. I don't really look at subgenres and be like, okay, I don't like this subgenre, but I'm not a type of person to separate things like that. And I'm always looking for metal bands that incorporate other genres into their music, such as Contrast from Austria and Poland, where they mix metal with reggae, samba, polka, and electronic music. Or Van Canto from Germany, who makes, they're an a cappella metal band. They only use drums and five singers, and that's it. No keyboards, no guitar, no bass. It's all vocals and drums, with the exception of a few tracks where they have like a guest musician on. But then there are the metal purists that are like, well, you can't mix these genres, and it's not metal. It's against metal. Blah blah blah. It's almost like some of the fandom is just stuck in the past, and they can't fathom the thought of other things being incorporated into what they grew up and knew and know. And even though it is better now, it is definitely something I saw a lot more when I was growing up in the 90s. There was a lot more segregation, especially between metal and punk. I mean, to be someone that liked both metal and punk, you were an outcast by both sides. And the way that elitism can keep somebody out of it or even discourage people from that is, let's say somebody never really listened to music, to metal music, and they're like 14 or 15 years old, and then they discover a song by, let's say, Metallica, a classic band. And when they bring up, oh, I listened to Metallica for the first time, and they're really, really cool. You get the people that are like more into like death metal and stuff like that. They're like, oh, that music is garbage. It's not even heavy. It's for whiny little babies. It's your garbage for listening to stuff like that. And that'll turn them away from wanting to listen to any of that again. And like even if there are bands that I don't like that are in the genre, I can't really hate on a band in a genre that already gets a lot of crap from the outside. So like, and some of these bands are easier to get into for people that aren't already into metal, and so like I consider some of those bands to be like gateway bands. And just because I don't like them doesn't mean I doesn't mean I feel like I need to bash them, because they still bring people into the community. I'm not the type that says, oh, they're not metal, because there are people that if they don't like them, they call them not metal, which is a really stupid thing, because metal is a genre of music, not a how you feel about this music. Because the metal community is like, oh, that's metal, as like a good thing, and like it's one of those things where I'm like, if you discover metal through any band or punk rock in any band, um, even if I don't like that band, like at least it's getting people into that scene, and then they can explore more once they're actually looking for that kind of stuff. That's how I get into some things. Like when I got into anime, I didn't I didn't really like it that much at first, but once I found one that I really enjoyed, I started looking for more. And it's kind of hard to do that in certain environments when like in metal, when you're getting pushed away from exploring more just because of how the community reacts, just the way they are. But if we want to get into a more recent thing, another band that's really stirred up the metal community in a very negative way, and it's not the band's fault, it's the community's fault, is the band Ghost. I personally really enjoy Ghost, but there are a lot of people in the metal community that'll bash you for liking them. It's popular in the metal community to actually not like them and to talk trash about them. That's the kind of gatekeeping that really, like, it just really disgusts me. I don't like when people bash on those who like a band that they don't like just because it's popular to do so. And that is the kind of stuff that's detrimental to the entire community, not just the individual, but it keeps people from joining the community. And when people are always like, "Oh, metal music isn't what it used to be," well, it could be if you just shut up and let people enjoy what they want to enjoy. Don't create this dichotomy of if you don't like this, you're out, or if you do like this, you're out. You can't do that. We're just all people who are trying to share common interests and talk about things we like. And just because you don't like it doesn't mean you have to shut people up for it or make fun of them or insult them for some stupid reason. Not much more controversial, for some reason it's controversial, group that I'm part of would be atheists. I am a very caring person in general. And for me personally, I don't care what you believe in. As long as your personal beliefs don't harm other people, don't take away other people's rights, and treat everybody equally, and you're a good person, I can get along with you. But I do know there are atheists that outright hate religion and will verbally attack people for believing in God and call them all terrible things, even saying that they're uneducated or stupid, when personal beliefs are not an indication of someone's intelligence or their ability to be a good person. Personal beliefs are just that, personal. They are for you, and you don't push it on other people. Like, I'm not going to go around being like, oh, well, if you believe in God, then this is blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to create an argument. So for me personally, I actually love learning about religion and different people's beliefs, and like that wealth of knowledge is one of my favorite subjects, because so many people have different ways in experiencing their world around them and what they believe causes things and where they believe that the origin of everything is. It's a very interesting aspect of humanity, and I believe having an open mind and talking to people is healthier than shutting people down or attacking them and having a whole opinion of somebody based on a thing that's personal to them and something that doesn't take away from you. And the same thing goes for the other way around. Like, I'm not going to be a friend with somebody that constantly harasses people for not believing in what they believe. It's all personal stuff. If you want to learn about what I believe, feel free to ask and let me pour it out to you. But that doesn't mean attack me for believing things differently than you do. I guess the moral of this entire video is, if you like something, you should not be afraid to share it with people that you like a particular thing. If you don't like something, don't harass and bash people that do, and vice versa. If you don't like something and people do, you can share your opinion, but you don't have to be a douchebag about it. You don't have to tear people down for it. And if people believe things in different than you, like, we're all human. We are all the same species. The only way to move us forward as a species is to get along, talk about things, learn, and move on. Not to get hooked on ideas and try to force them down other people's throats. Anyway, that's going to do it for my rant. I will say, if you do enjoy anything involving creature features, monster movies, bad movies, comic book movies and stuff like that, I highly recommend checking out Altiori. She's a really, really entertaining person, has the most infectious laughs ever, and always entertaining to see what's in her brain. Really weird ideas she has, but that's one of the things I like, because I have a lot of weird things I think about movies and my own fan theories after I watch something. And for me, it was like, oh, there's somebody else that's just as weird as I am. Maybe I'm not, maybe I'm not completely crazy. If you enjoyed this video, I would greatly appreciate a like. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed, and leave a comment down below. Give me subjects for future rants. I'm always looking for new ideas. I always gotta think of something, and sometimes it's hard for me to think of what to rant about just because I'm generally a pretty easygoing person, and even though I think of things that annoy me on the spot, when I sit down to record, sometimes it's hard for me to come up with anything. So just put that subject down below, help me out, and have a good one. See you.